Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
We all fell in love with Harry Garside, obviously, from I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where he came runner-up to Liz Ellis. Also for how vulnerable Harry was post-Olympics. He's written a book, and I love what he's written on the back. He said, oh, no, here's another celebrity wanker with a self-help book telling everyone how to live their lives. Don't worry, it's not. I can't think of anything worse to read, let alone write, so I won't subject you to that. The book is called The Good Fight, and hello, Harry.
Thank you for having me in, guys.
When we saw you at the end of the games there with what you said, how are you going now? Because you said, how am I going to go a few weeks after this? Are you feeling better about what happened over there in Paris for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a cocktail. There's some days where you're feeling off. I think that's a human experience, right? Sometimes we have rough days, rough weeks, and since I've been home more so, I definitely have had some rough days. But to be honest, like I've been around family, been around friends. I've tried to. I think 5 years ago, the decisions I made when I failed in sport were really negative, and I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful for the maturity. I'm grateful for my support network now as well. I feel like I'm making a lot better decisions for myself, which is really nice.
Well, you gave us such an insight into what it's like. We sit at home and watch the Olympics and go, oh, what's going on there? You gave such an insight into how hard it can be. And I think we all really felt for you. But your story is quite an incredible one. And you're saying here in your book, boxing, ballet and breaking stereotypes. What role does ballet play for you?
Yeah, so I started ballet in 2019, and I've always been super fascinated in dance and the performance arts, and I grew up in a really masculine environment. I'm the youngest of three boys, and my old man's really stoic and old-fashioned. And I think growing up, I was quite scared to sort of say that I wanted to try dance or something like that. So I started boxing at the age of 9 to sort of hide things away.
Which is a form of dance, I guess.
It is 100%. It's a pure form of dance. I love it. And I think I started ballet, for the growth in boxing, and it has done that like so much. I'm really grateful for that. But I'm just really grateful. I think any human should do dance. You think about all these ancient cultures; they always had like a form of dance or like storytelling or something through movement. And I love that. Every time I do a dance class, whether it be ballet or contemporary or something else, I always walk out feeling better, and I love that.
Would you say that dancers make good fighters? And I'm just going from Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze, one of the greatest movies in the world, because he's in Dirty Dancing and then he's in Roadhouse. So clearly there's a correlation.
Absolutely. I think any sport, any type of sport is a form of dance. Like you're in your body. It's so pure and meditative when you are playing sport. And I think dance is that to a T. So I think any athlete should try any form of dance, and you'll see the growth. You're always aware of your body. You've got to remember steps. You've got to be in flow. You've got to feel your body, feel where the weight is. And I love that. I think, as I said, any athlete or any human should really try that dance for sure.
What does boxing give you? You just explain what you feel when you're dancing. What do you get from boxing?
I think I wrote a poem recently, and it was like, grateful to constantly be reminded all that we are is barbaric animals trying to act civilized. And I do believe that. I think people always forget. We think we're so sophisticated and
we scratch the surface
and
we're
all
still
animals.
Ourselves.
And you think about it. Think about like when your animal instinct comes out. I don't know if you've got kids, but if that primal instinct comes out, if you see a dangerous situation in your kid, you watch that mother rage come out. It's a beautiful thing, right? What boxing has taught me is to control it. I think as a young boy, I was really unsure. Sometimes you have all these cocktail of emotions. You've got like rage, energy, aggression. I've got like fidgety. I'm so fidgety. And I think boxing gave me the ability to sort of like release that energy and then learn to sort of sit in it more and then learn to control it. So I'm not doing dumb stuff on the street.
Do you think the future of boxing is safe? Like a lot of doctors, a lot of medical people have said it should be stopped. It should be banned and things like that. What do you see for the future of boxing?
It's quite interesting. I think if you asked me that question 10 years ago, I would have been like, we're fine, of course. But it's the closer I get to having kids, the more that I'm aware of brain damage. And I do believe that boxing can be done in a safe way. And I do believe that any sport, whether it be AFL, any contact sport, it's like there is the potential for concussion and head knocks. But I do believe that boxing is controlled. It's like a car crash. You know you're about to get punched, right? So you're preparing for it. I think AFL or NRL, sometimes you don't see the punches coming or the knocks coming. So I think that's when the brain can't really prepare for it. But I think it's one of those sports. You know what you're getting into. It is potentially dangerous. There is many boxers who are totally fine, but then there is, of course, boxers who are 50, 60 and struggle to talk. So.
Yeah. It's interesting that I've seen the game. What's the sport where you box and then you play chess boxing, I think it's called. But that's the new, and with the insights into you as a person as well, you're breaking the trope of what we think boxing is and who boxers are. You know, you can be smart and whimsical and poetic and still be a boxer. You don't have to be Mike Tyson.
It's so interesting because I think when I first started boxing, my parents didn't know too much about boxing and who's the most famous boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, one of the most poetic and creative mans that I've ever sort of paid attention to. And I think growing up, I spent a lot of time, I've got him tattooed on my leg, I spent a lot of time sort of just like reading stuff about him or watching movies about him, and what he did outside of the boxing ring, he just showed that he was so much more than just a boxer, although it sort of exercised his beautiful nature. And I think you don't have to look too far in history to sort of see that there was this like Marcus Aurelius. There was these people in time who were like great leaders, right? And they also they were warriors. And they were the people that you turn to when things are tough, right? Yep. Things are hard. They're the people that you follow into battle. And I think boxing is definitely, I've met so many amazing people in that as well. And there's a lot of people who I guess have the same sort of archetypes of those old great leaders. And I really sort of appreciate that.
And maybe that's a sport, boxing, chess, ballet. This, I reckon ESPN would be onto that.
Sport.
You've got, that could be a
triathlete.
That could be a thing. Harry, it's so great to talk to you, and you made us so proud. Like really, as a non-sporting person, I've often heard Olympians talk about, I've let you down. And well, you haven't let me down. I never got that, but I've never had anyone in my life in my 56 years articulate it as well as you did. So thank you for that.
No, of course. It's an interesting thing. I think like growing up, I always thought that gold medals or success in sport was going to change how I felt about myself. And I was getting success in sport, Commonwealth Games, last Olympics, getting this success, right? And I still would look in the mirror and be unhappy with the man that looks back. And I'm like, if that's not a sign that this isn't right, and I feel like there's a lot of people running this capitalist-driven society. It's just like, we need that job promotion. We need that thing. We need that other thing outside of ourselves to change how we feel about ourselves. And it's like, it never really works.
No.
Yeah, and I guess I'm trying my best to, I get self-respect or self-value when my brother calls me and says, hey mate, can you give me a chop out? Or when my mate calls me and is in need, or when I see someone in public struggling to carry their shopping, you ask to help. Like that is where you collect the evidence that you are a good person and you try your best to sort of.
Maybe reshaping the markers of success.
This is what it's all about. The word according to Harry.
It's a weird thing though. We don't prop that up in our society.
No.
Like, I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't go to the Olympics, right? And that's just the reality of it, right? Like, it's an interesting thing. Like, we prop it up in our society, like these people, and it's like, there's people in like cancer wards that were working like these long shifts, and it's like, we don't pay attention to them. We just like, it's like these people who are like, I don't know, successful CEOs, or like, yes, they're like kind of admirable in some weird way, but we don't, as a society, prop up people who are like genuinely good people in their hearts in the right place.
Man, I wish I had the answers for that, Harry.
I don't know. It's a
You're
weird
wise
thing.
beyond your years, my man. Harry Garside, The Good Fight, is available in bookstores and online retailers today. You just heard a sample of what you get in the book. It's not some wanky thing. It's a good book. It's full of it. You just had a free sample. Harry, thank you for coming in.
Awesome. Thanks heaps, guys.